Welcome. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Sips with Sandy and Shay.
Yes.
We are on sip number 4, and we have a beautiful guest speaker today, Debbie Adams with Weston Title and Escrow listed. I'm so excited because this is an important show. You want to be here for this one because you got to know the goods. You got to know the goods. So
absolutely,
yeah. So welcome, and let's sit together.
Yeah, we've been taking you guys through. You probably haven't realized it, but we've been doing a chronological order.
Yes.
In our show, the first show was basically the first step when you
Right.
decide to buy a home, which is consulting with a lender.
Right.
So the beautiful Tina Mulligan from Cardinal Financial was here, and then.
With our dirty water.
With our dirty water. She called our wine dirty water. It's really sweet tea. So we'll have her back again and we'll give her a real wine this time. We might have to carry her out. But our second show, just to give you a really quick recap, our second show was really, after you get the letter from Tina, you need to work with a realtor. So we did that segment with Stanley, who was here. And we also discussed realtor safety.
Yes.
And then number 3 was the home inspection.
You got a good memory, girl. Because I'm like, what was it?
Well, I'm older. You're supposed to have a better memory than me.
Pray for us.
So anyway, Shay, it's still Valentine's month.
Yes.
And what else?
It is Black History Month.
Hey, check it out.
That's why I got on this right here, you guys. I feel like an angel.
And she is an angel. And I actually had this shirt made. You see what? Did you read it?
I tried, but I didn't get a chance. We've been moving.
Okay, it says infinitely more than black. That's what it says.
That.
I actually had it made specially for this month and this show so that all of you in YouTube land can see it. It's something that's been in my heart for so long. I don't like the word black. I'm just going to tell you. And I may rub some feathers wrong. I do not like the word black. I don't like the N-word.
Because it's only one race, and that's human race.
The human race. Absolutely. And this show is not scripted, so I tend to say things. I'm just going to speak my truth. I consider myself a melanated queen, and so that is why I put the little crown here. I called up my girl Antonia. She was actually one of my buyers, but she has a t-shirt business, and I'll go ahead and plug her information in the comments so that if you guys need a beautiful shirt like this that expresses yourself. And I decided to pair it with this.
I love that.
This is called a neck ring. My sister brought it from Sierra Leone in Africa. She was in Africa 2 weeks ago.
See, this treasure.
And it actually has history behind it.
Oh, wow.
You know, some people, this doesn't actually make the neck longer, because you'll end up with neck issues from stretching the neck. It actually shows how long your neck is. And then women in Africa, they would wear it to show faithfulness to their husband. Oh. And in Myanmar, there's like they believe that it protects from, because if you get attacked by a tiger, you know, walking on State Road 7, you gotta have some neck protection.
All right, South Florida got all types of stuff.
Well, they're known for clawing at the throat first. That's how a tiger makes his, approach. Yeah. So if you see me on Broward Boulevard and I'm wearing this, you know why? Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking a lot.
No, you're not. You just listen. We're expressing ourselves, and just to let everybody know that it's okay, and we're celebrating Black History Month. Yes. And we literally, we're just free to be ourselves on this show. So that's what we love. But we're not history juicy. But go ahead.
We got to talk about Black history a little bit.
Go ahead.
There are tons and tons and tons of contributions that African Americans have made. Black people, melanated kings and queens have made to the world. But more specifically, Black History Month started out as Negro History Month by Woodson G. Carter. And his whole plight was to acknowledge all of the contributions that our people made in society. We invented a lot of things. I say we because I've invented things too. I mean, they were stolen, but like seriously, today they still steal your. I'm not talking about white people stealing. I'm talking about just people who get a hold of your ideas They steal. I'm an inventor at heart. I come from a family of inventors.
I love that.
So, I invented.
We're all supposed to be inventors and creators.
Yeah, we're all inventors. But there's so many contributions that we use even today. And I feel like I want to start a new trend with Black History Month, and that is gift giving. Because we give Christmas, we give, what are the other holidays we give? Because I don't really buy gifts.
Christmas, birthdays.
And some of the contributions are so great. Why not give gifts?
Right.
Who do we give gifts to, though? Just Black people or white?
We give gifts to everyone.
Everybody?
Well, I don't know. I was raised to give gifts to everyone. I was the one that, even as a young child, I literally bring everybody a Valentine's Day card. I'm like, yes, I bring everybody a Valentine's Day card and candy. That's just how my mama raised me. Give.
Okay. So, what's today? The 21st. This year, February 21st, 2022. Okay? On this show, and in our homes, we're going to start giving gifts in February for Black History Month. Because it really shouldn't be something that's set aside for this, because the contributions are so great. It should be all year long. Right. Black history should be celebrated all year long, in my opinion. But anyway, we're going to get away from all this talk, because we are expecting our very, very special guest, Debbie Adams from Weston Title. She's going to come on, and she's going to tell us all about title works and how it works in a transaction when you're buying, and even sometimes when you're selling, in some special cases. I kind of wanted to, I'm not going to talk about it. I am not, but, since we're in Black History Month, I was going to give you guys a little rundown of how slaves were accounted for by their slave masters. Because, they had papers on their slaves. Right. And even when slaves got free, they had to prove that they were free. So you had to show, you need to make sure that you own that slave free and clear.
It's a good example of what she do.
Yeah, that's what Debbie does. Debbie does the title, okay? So we're not going to talk about, she knows nothing about the slave time. She's Jewish. Her people have gone through so much hell. So she definitely
she understands.
She understands. Yes. And so we're going to invite her on to sip with us today. Debbie does title. Welcome to our show, Debbie Adams from Weston Title, guys.
Welcome.
Hi. She's got me yellow. Have a seat. Be careful. Oops, it's okay.
These seats are horrible.
Yeah. I invented them.
She did.
Well,
Cheers.
Yes.
Oh,
and we've never had wine on the show before.
Maybe I should have a few more sips. It might loosen me up.
Okay, we're bringing to my point. Debbie's a wine connoisseur. So before we even get started, give me that bag right there.
Yes. Here you go.
This is for you.
Oh my God. We're giving the gift.
She had a birthday last year, and she did not want to accept a gift from me. She's so giving. Oh my God. So I want to see you reject this on live TV. This is for you.
She got you.
And you got to open it before we start talking about title. You got to open it. Be really careful. You got to open it. Just pull it out. And I pray you don't already have one.
Oh my God.
Do you have one?
No, I do not.
I love it.
Finally, a glass of wine that suits my needs.
That's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
That is
If it wasn't
great.
uncomfortable, I'd have you drink out of it, but we gotta wash it and all of that.
Yes.
So this is for Deb. Finally, a glass of wine that suits her needs. She loves wine. I was gonna bring my wine book. You gotta teach me about wine.
I don't know that much about wine, trust me. I just know what I like and what I don't like. White gets you more trash than red, just to let you know.
Wait, white gets you more what?
Trashed.
Trash than red wine?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We have a listed appointment after this. We can't drink too much.
Say behave.
Oh, Shay, you forgot yours.
Oh, no, I said.
Oh, grab that bag, honey. Remember, it's Black History Month.
It's another
And
bag.
we're getting, yes.
I did not even know.
This
See,
is for you.
Santa always got some up her sleeve.
Gift giving. We give gifts all February.
Oh, wow.
That's a new tradition now. Even if you don't do it all February, at least start giving gifts for Black History Month.
She know I love t-shirts.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she got me wanting to say what she has on.
In white.
I love it in white.
Infinitely more than black.
More than black. I love it. I
That's
love it.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so grateful to the young lady that she put everything, I called her and she just dropped everything and she did those shirts.
That's
Oh,
great.
wow.
She's actually a school teacher and she happened to be, is my shirt coming? I want it to lean to the side.
Lean to the
I
side,
cut
yeah.
mine. I don't like
Gotta have it cute. You gotta have some swag.
There you go.
Realtors
Swag
can
now.
have swag.
And this means I'm faithful. I'm faithful to the husband I don't have.
See, yeah,
Faithful
so
to
she was funny.
yourself.
I'm faithful to myself
There
and
you go.
God. Yes. All right, so Deb, thank you once again.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me. Seriously,
All right.
thank you.
So so tell us a little bit about, who you are, what you do, and then just get into it.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to let you know that title is probably the most unsexy part of the real estate transaction.
Amen.
It's a little dry, but I've been in the title business now for 3 years. I work for Weston Title and Escrow. They're located in Weston, Florida. And basically, they've been around for 30 years. They're attorney owned and operated. So if you have any questions or challenges that you need legal help with, we can do that as well as far as your real estate transaction. So I'm loving life large. I get to meet people like Sandy that are just incredible realtors that know what they're doing, and it makes my job a lot easier.
Wonderful.
And one of the things that you hit a good point about knowing what you're doing.
Yes.
If you don't have a title company that knows what they're doing, that could royally screw your deal.
Yes.
So
Completely.
yeah, absolutely. So I trust Debbie. Debbie and we've been rocking for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody knows about me. If you are not on point, you get the axe.
Let me tell you
Access
something.
denied.
The first couple of transactions I did with her, I thought, oh my God, this has to go smoothly, please, please.
And we just listen, Debbie. I'm gonna talk about you later because you're just amazing. You really are. But so tell our audience how important title search, a title company or a title agent is rather. How important is a title agent to a transaction, and some of the things that you do to get us to the closing table.
Okay, so the most important thing is to make sure that the home that you're purchasing is free and clear, that there aren't any liens or other people owning it that could take it away from you. That's what title is. It shows ownership. There are times when there could be a tax lien from the previous owner that it wasn't caught with title when they sold their house. But guess what? That still travels with the title.
Or a water bill.
Or a water bill, or it could just be they had some work done and didn't pay the contractor. I mean, all of these things could happen with a title company and getting title insurance. What that does is it protects you from your house, your largest asset and purchase, being taken away from you.
Wow. And remember we ran into one with the HOA. We had somebody had an HOA and they was paying the wrong company, and
Yes.
that came up and that almost stopped the whole thing. So that's how important it is to have a
Yes.
title search.
Absolutely.
I remember that one. I don't think you weren't the title company on that one because it was a cash deal, and the buyer, as you know, in Broward, the buyer gets the
Choose.
gets to choose the title company, and I don't know why they didn't choose Debbie, because they didn't know about her. So I'm letting you guys know about her.
Yes.
She is amazing. Okay, so Debbie, if in some circumstance a family purchases a home or a buyer purchases a home, and after they move in, they get a knock on the door. Hello, this is my house. You have no right to be here. My mother and my father died and left it to all of us, but my siblings sold it without me.
Oh.
What happens what happens? I mean, there's several paths or recourses that can happen, but as it pertains to a title company that actually provided a policy to that buyer,
Yeah.
what is that? How does that scenario work out?
Basically, we're on the hook for it. We pay out the person who is saying, this is my house, and of course we make sure that it actually is part of her house. We're the ones that are responsible for it because you have a title policy that protects you. We're the ones that miss that. So you're good. You are good. That's why we're here. There are other searches that we also do. We do a municipal lien search, which basically has to do with the county. So if you lived in a home that didn't have a homeowner's an HOA, basically you're responsible for cutting your grass, keeping your place clean.
Mm-hmm.
I have known of people who have never cut their grass, that the property was stayed vacant.
Wow.
Never cut their grass, got a $22 bill from the municipality, from the city, and they never paid it. By the time they sold that property 10 years later,
Probably 30,000.
it was like $30,000.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's insane. It's
true.
insane.
It happens.
So what I
$22
yeah,
can turn into 30,000.
it's crazy. So those are the things that we look for to make sure that there aren't any liens on the property through the municipality.
Yes.
The other thing that we do, we talked about HOA. So the homeowners association is a very difficult breed to deal with, but
I
that's
can't stand them.
whole nother story. They're little condo commandos. But
Yes.
Little governments.
exactly. So basically what we do is we ask for an estoppel. And an estoppel is just a fancy word for us getting a report card on the person who owns the property now. Making sure that they paid their dues every month, making sure that they kept their place clean, that there weren't any assessments that were made on them because they weren't keeping their mailbox clean or keeping their roof clean. Along with the fact that if there is other charges, they're redoing the roofs and you're assessed, the person's assessed over a period of time, making sure that that assessment's going to be paid off, or there's some sort of agreement that was made so that we make sure that you're moving into a place that you don't have huge bills attached to.
And oh my God, how about permits?
Oh my God, open
That's a
permits,
big one.
thank you. Open permits that haven't been closed. Expired permits, we have to make sure that all those permits are closed and clear. There are also times when notices of commencement happen, where they've gone ahead, they've hired a contractor, the contractor's gone through half the job because they didn't get their payment. We have to make sure all that's done and closed out. So there's a lot of little things that we have to make sure that your house is clear for you to go ahead and purchase and live there happily ever after.
So they give us them good words. Clear the clothes.
No, that's actually the lender.
No, you're right. We're true that. But your
That's
job
Tina.
is still so important.
And
you
so
know?
Debbie actually communicates with the lender
Right.
to do.
So the lender, there are two reasons why we communicate with the lender. The first is, of course, the policy, the owner's policy that you receive, the lender wants the same sort of assurance. So what they do is they take out a lender's policy, and it's all based on the amount of your loan. And that's something to protect them for previous occurrences that can result in losses, future losses. So that's one of the reasons we talk to them. The other reason is if you're taking out a loan, we need to make sure that we balance with our fees, with their fees. So we're the ones that are behind the scenes working with the lender to make sure that all the numbers are right, so that you have the amount that you need to be able to close the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have so how long do a title search usually take?
Okay, so title searches can be anywhere between 3 to 5 days. If you need it quicker, if everybody's ready to close, I can get it for you within 24 hours.
Oh wow.
If municipal lien searches are a little different, the counties are a little different, the cities are a little different. It all depends where
They
you
can be
are.
slow.
Some of them can be 3 to 5 days, 7 to 10 days, 10 to 14 days. 14 days is the longest, and I think that's Deerfield Beach, actually. Deerfield Beach takes a while. But, you know, this is that's pretty much it. As far as the HOA estoppel, if there's an HOA, that can take up to 10 business days. We can put a rush on it if you need it quicker, which would be then 3 to 5 business days. So you're probably looking at anywhere from 7 to 14 days to getting all of it taken care of.
Okay. Yeah, so because usually a closing takes it could take anywhere from 25 days to 45 days. I've seen them as long as 60, depending on what the contractual agreements are. So the title company has to work very diligently so that you can meet your contract deadlines. In some cases you may extend, but everybody's happy when we can stay in contract and meet our contract deadlines in a timely manner, because people base a lot of their life and there's the style of living around that closing. Maybe they have to relocate or what have you.
Right. The other thing that sets me apart from everyone else, because title companies like realtors, you see why Sandy and her team is set apart from everyone else because of the way she operates and her professionalism.
Excellence. Yes.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you
Oh,
so
speaking
much.
of excellence, let me tell you, Debbie, I don't know, I just feel so blessed, honestly, because she will literally close a transaction at your new home.
Wow.
Yes, she's not a traveling title manager, but she will travel. I've had situations where people couldn't get off of work, or I've had situations where it was a husband and a wife who were not ex-wife or ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in agreement, but Debbie has to make sure that ex-spouse, not the ex-spouse, but the spouse that's estranged, signs off on the paperwork, because at one time that may have been his homestead. And Debbie I've seen Debbie go to both parties in different places. The sacrifices and that's what we're all about, excellence. We're about people,
Right.
So although a lot of her work has to do with the numbers, I don't see where Debbie has ever treated one of our clients as a number, and that is Promiseland's business is taking care of people.
Right.
Taking care
I
of
love
people.
that. And we appreciate you for that.
Thank you. The most important thing in any transaction is getting to the closing table and it actually being your property. And I don't want to take that specialness away from anybody. So I travel to wherever it's convenient for the seller, the buyer, make sure that everything goes smoothly, and things do. It normally takes.
Thank you, Lord.
Normally what happens is once I have all the documents signed, the loan documents and everything else, what I do then is I'll send it to my office. My office will then contact the lender. The lender will say, okay, all these documents are in place, yay. And then I get to make the phone call and say, congratulations on your new home.
Awesome. Another thing I just want to ask a quick so it does say title and escrow, so everybody don't understand or know if a title company can hold escrow, so can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. So when you make the purchase on your home, on your new home, and you have a deposit that you want to give showing your good faith, it goes into our escrow account, which basically you can either give us a check or send a wire, and we hold that money until that transaction is cleared and ready to close. Nobody gets paid until everything is perfect. So if things happen, if you do a walkthrough and there's something wrong and you just don't want to close, I'll hold back. I will not allow anything to happen until both realtors are in agreement that everything is fine. So that's what us holding escrow does for you. And it's just basically holding your deposit safe until the transaction's closed.
Awesome.
And it's so important to actually have that, because I'm just going to tell you, make sure that the realtor you're working with is trustworthy.
Yes.
Because even though we're trustworthy here at Promiseland and many other companies are trustworthy, you have the ones out there that do give us a bad name. And so it's best for you to put any kind of deposit for your home purchase into the escrow account at Western Title. It's safe, secure. They're the paymaster. Everything that escrow gets credited back to, in most cases, the escrow gets credited back to the buyer. at the end of the transaction unless there's something that it needs to be kept to satisfy.
Right.
Yeah, so it's safe. It's safely put there.
Right. That goes towards your cash to close. You put
Right.
a deposit down, and then whatever the remainder is, it's your deposit plus the additional monies.
But Debbie, why does I mean I've never looked it up. I know that it's customary, but why does the lender, and you're not a lender, I forgot to ask Tina this when she was on, why does the lender require the buyer to pay for their title policy? I mean, that
Because they can.
That's the easy answer. Because they can.
yeah, sadly enough, that's the right answer, because they can.
But in all fairness to the lender, first of all, when you purchase a home and you get a lender's policy along with for yourself, and we give one to the lender, we only charge a $300 fee for the actual lender's policy. So they get a discount at the time of your purchase. And then there's some endorsements to make sure they're safe. But where they're giving you the loan, they want their protection. They want to know that they're safe. So it's all a part of the loan. You know, it's not segregating out and saying, well, I want title insurance for me. It's actually something that they require through compliance. So
have you ran into a situation, Debbie, where people were trying to sell their home to someone else and they were not the legal or rightful owner of that property in your years, or do you know anybody in the title industry that's ran into that or heard of anything?
So I have a very interesting story for you. And
This is oh, we got a sip on
Sip
this.
story.
Y'all have me looking thirsty out here. I'm the only one sipping.
Oh no.
I have to set them up. You tell.
So basically what happened was there was a husband and wife. They were in the process of getting divorced. They lived out in California. The wife decided to move here to Florida. So they're going through their divorce. She went to purchase a home, and she said that she was single.
Oh.
Figuring, it's almost there, I'm single.
So she wouldn't have this on.
Yeah, exactly.
So this proves faithfulness to her husband.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
That's what
That was a strategy.
Okay.
So basically what happened was the husband died. She sold the house, and the husband passed. The kids opened up the will, and guess what? The house in Florida, where it's 50-50 ownership when
All
you're
right.
married.
Know the law.
Wow.
They came back and they came to the new owners and said, hey, she did not have the authorization to sell this home.
Wow.
Here is the will. So yeah, that was pretty messy.
Wow.
That was pretty messy. And a lot of people, who purchase a new property, even if they're paying cash, say, what do I need the title insurance for?
Yeah.
That's the reason you need the
That's
title
the
insurance.
reason. Yes.
That's like my kids. That's wow. My kids were telling me this morning about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it's a new movie.
I seen that on Netflix, but I didn't watch
The new version,
it.
but I've never seen it before. But they were telling me this morning because I said Debbie's coming on, and she's like, "Oh, Mom, ask her if she's seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre." So it's about a little. This is what they tell me about the story
Movie.
about the little old lady that was living in a house, and there were I guess some people came to possess the house from her because they felt that they were the rightful owners. She couldn't produce a deed until after she died. Then they found the actual deed inside of the house.
Wow.
So talk about deeds. Anything you want to say about deeds? Because she probably,
Oh, jeez. What to say about deeds?
about deeds. So different types of deeds. You got like warranty deeds.
Okay, the warranty deeds. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you about deeds. Deeds are what controls the transaction when it comes to selling. If husband and wife are on a deed and they're separated, or they are divorced even if they're divorced and the two of them are on the deed, we need either proof that they've been divorced and that the house has been left to them, one spouse or the other. And we also need for the husband to sign off on it, the ex-husband. So when the time comes, and this is just hindsight going forward, when the time comes and you get divorced, make sure that you go to your whoever's doing your closing, tell them that you want a quitclaim deed on the house to put it in your name solely, because otherwise it'll come back and bite you.
Wow, that's wisdom.
The other thing is, okay, people don't like talking about death, but unfortunately death is real.
And it's beautiful to me.
Yes. Yeah, well, I don't want to be that beautiful right now.
I will say to that.
So basically with the deed, let's just say that you have an elderly parent that's not doing very well, that's in the hospital, and you think they're going to be okay, but you don't know. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm sorry. I'm going to back up and I'm going to tell you a story, an actual real life thing that happened.
Wow.
Okay, so there was a woman who was living in my neighborhood. She was 87 years old.
Wow.
Still driving, still shopping, doing everything herself.
I received it.
She had decided that she wanted a new phase in her life and move into an assisted living. And she was so excited about it. So she was taking a left-hand turn at a light. Guy ran the light and hit her.
Wow.
She ended up in the hospital. While she was still coherent, we had made the suggestion that she get a ladybird deed, which basically stops the property from having to go through probate.
Wow.
So we drew up the ladybird deed, and unfortunately, a day and a half later, she passed. But it enabled her son to sell the property. So this is something that you really need to think about with elderly. I know. It's a terrible story, but these are all things that can come up.
Right.
Probate is horrendous to go through, and at least this alleviates the probate.
Yeah, and it is horrendous. I actually have a seller that just decided to just walk away because the probate was just too difficult to get the family members together. So, and you've done transactions like those where family members just couldn't come together and there was no closing. Right? Because everybody has to sign off,
yes.
Or there has to be one executor, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so, I mean, Debbie, her job is so, I should call it her passion.
Right.
Really. Her passion is so vital to transferring a property from one owner to the other that usually if she is not involved or a title company is not involved, you'll find yourself susceptible to fraud.
Exactly. And there is a lot of fraud, especially here in Florida.
Yes.
There is so much fraud where there have been people that I've heard of selling homes right under the people's noses, and they don't even know about it.
Realtors, some realtors do that.
It's
true. I'm just going to tell you.
And how about someone who went on vacation and they rent out their property?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm serious.
You see it on movies all the time, so you know it's real anyway.
So you're on vacation, because you're busy putting everything on Facebook. Oh, I'm here in Dubai, and then somebody's back home renting out your property.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to sell it if they use a title company because Debbie tracks the chain of title.
Exactly.
So I had a deal that almost didn't close because of a mother and a daughter cohabited together, and the mother decided to put the daughter on the deed. However, when they did that, they misspelled the daughter's name. So they went back to correct it, and when time came for them to sell that property, that caused a problem because the daughter needed to prove if she was the first Maria or Mariah. It was crazy, and it they got frustrated because they're like, oh, we got rid of that property. Why are you contacting us? So I said, because the title company is not going to allow us to close unless you present some kind of identification that you were indeed the mistaken,
Yes.
the misspelled name in the first place. So
Exactly.
They sent me on a little mission to meet with the previous owner and seduce them. No,
She wore that shirt and pulled it way
I
down.
pulled it all the way down.
Oh God.
And I had a little wine. I gave them some wine.
Oh, God. That's funny.
But she actually ended up signing the paper, and I had Tracy Coleman, who's now a home inspector, but she is a notary also. She came out and she met us, and they signed the paper, and we had it notarized.
Right.
That was indeed so that is the importance of a title company, because without a title company, all that stuff gets passed, and you're getting yourself into a world of trouble many times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's what Debbie does. She does title.
And even if you are an investor or someone that's buying cash, I still recommend
Yes.
that you do a title search. You
Yes.
still can work along with a title company, because some people just like got the money and they want the property so
Yes.
quick and all that. And then you find out that there's something wrong with it after you purchased it. So you want, even though you have cash, even though you're an investor, you still can work with a title company and get a
Very
title search.
important.
Absolutely, and still get the title insurance, because as I stated, it is for past occurrences that cause future claims. So there could be an occurrence that a previous title company missed, and it's still tracking with that property. So you
Yes.
could still get into trouble with it.
Right. Like when we're closing, coming up very soon, the ex-husband took out a loan and did not tell the wife when he was married to her. So now she's actually responsible for his loan that he took out, because they're now divorced, and he wants nothing to do with her. He wants nothing to do with the property.
Wow.
So in order for her to actually sell that home and take all that equity that's in the home, she has to pay that off.
Exactly.
It's his bill, but she has to pay it off.
Because they were married at the time that he took it out.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the reason.
Yes. Well,
This was a good informative show.
Thank you.
yes. We gotta have you back again.
I'd love to come back.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
cheers out next week. No, next week we're gonna have sip number 5.
Yes.
And we are going to be speaking with an appraiser. Okay, so
All right.
thank you, Deb. Cheers.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining
Have
us.
a good one, you guys.
Bye.
That was awesome.
Yeah.